Welcome back to this already the final segment of today's Price of Business television show. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. And let me tell you, it's your business to be really concerned about the kind of education our young people are getting in colleges and universities out there. Continuing my conversation with the Daily Signal writer, Natalie Johnson, and about how liberal professors do outnumber conservative ones. And, you know, we were talking, Natalie, that there's really only a handful of institutions that really offer competing worldviews. And some of the more stronger ones, I think obviously the one that immediately comes to mind is Heritage Foundation. You, of course, love that. Hillsdale College, of course, is one of the few that stick out. There's very few, though. What are some of the other ones that you have found?
Oh, goodness. Not many. I would say Liberty is definitely another, and that's also in Virginia. But beyond that, I haven't looked too much further just because it is so difficult to dig these up. And it's not only ones that are conservative, but it's what one of the professors said is that the goal shouldn't even be an even split in professors because that's likely never going to happen. The goal should more be just getting more conservative professors in here because right now they are just so obscenely outnumbered.
Yeah. Bob Jones University, Claremont Graduate School is kind of conservative for graduate work. Liberty University is definitely gravitates towards that. But I agree with you. It should be about the best professors, and it should be about getting a diversity of faculty in there. And I think if I was a provost of a university, those guys are supposed to be the guys in charge of academic discipline, making sure that there's quality faculty. I think I'd be very interested about making sure that I'm getting that kind of diversity in faculty, but it's not happening.
No, and it's not. And again, I think the most interesting part of this is that it is impacting students to such an extent. And what one of the professors told me is that, interestingly, this actually harms liberal students more than it harms conservative students, because conservatives are at least being exposed to these ideas that are challenging their own opinions, whereas liberals are just having their ideas reinforced. Obviously, that is not what higher education should be. It's not what it's meant to be. So it's just creating, again, this huge problem where students aren't being challenged in their own views.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of things that you can do as a parent. First of all, you could do some research, find the handful of conservative schools out there, and there's lists out there that you can pursue. That's a good idea. The better idea, in my opinion, is to make sure you get your young person additional training. There's a lot of seminars out there. There's organizations out there. Intercollegiate Studies Institute is an example of organizations that can help train your kids to be well-versed, to know when they're being treated with propaganda. You as a parent, you might want to not be naive about where you send your young person to school. The school you went to, you might be a legacy. You want that to happen multi-generation. The school you went to is likely different than the one your young person would be going to 20 years later. True?
Oh, yeah, certainly. And again, this shift, it's become a lot more pronounced in the past 25 years, but it's not something that just started in the past 25 years. This has been going on for quite some time now, and so it has become much worse so. And again, this trend isn't likely to slow anytime soon. So it's definitely something that parents need to look into. I think that something that was incredibly helpful for me was doing internships over the summer. Most of them were with right-leaning organizations, and that was very helpful for me to have both of views. When I would go to school, hear the left side, and then over the summer, hear the right side. And it helped me make a more well-rounded judgment of things. And I think that's something that parents should look into.
When did you become to believe you were a conservative?
I actually knew nothing about politics until I was 19 years old, and I interned for an organization right off of Capitol Hill that was right-leaning. And I think that was the first time I'd even been exposed to those ideas, because it's not just school, it's media, it's TV shows, it's radio, and so it's just a lot of these things where people in general aren't being exposed to these ideas.
Yeah. By the way, was that National Journalism Center?
It was not. It was FreedomWorks.
It was what?
FreedomWorks.
FreedomWorks. Yeah. Well, there you go. Thanks so much for being with us. Natalie Johnson, she's with the Daily Signal, which is with the Heritage Foundation. Great article. Look up liberal professors outnumber conservative faculty and put in Daily Signal. It'll show up. Or just go to priceofbusiness.com and usdailyreview.com. That wraps up the segment. Do want to remind you the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. Great segments, audio, articles, so much more, as well as at our sister news site, usdailyreview.com. Want to thank all those who make this show possible. Have a great day and spend it right here on this station.
You've been listening to The Price of Business with Kevin Price.